Hey, Alyssa, how are you today?
Hey, I'm good.
Good, awesome. Okay, so here is what I like to do at the top of all of my coaching calls is I want to ask you, what is the number one priority for you to get answered or focus on during our time today?
Okay, so it would be um, where to focus my efforts as far as I am kind of taking a new direction for the new year in 2020 and trying to move away from my VA work, so to speak, into I'm going to be providing um, basically it's going to be a matchmaking sort of service to where Christian business owners can find Christian virtual assistants to work with, because I've had a lot of people come to me and I'm maxed out. Like, I really can't do any more VA work. But I have trained several VAs, about 10 or 12 VAs. And so I want to make sure of how to socially, with social networking, how to connect with those people, but connect with both sides of that coin. So make sure that it's not confusing to the VA what I'm offering, and it's not confusing to the business owner what I'm offering as a service, because I want it to make it clear as possible. And I've already had people coming to me for this, or come to me needing a VA, and then I couldn't do it because I'm maxed out. So my goal is to sort of move in that direction for the new year. And so just making sure that I have I'm clearly my offer is clear
Okay.
on my social networking.
Okay, so great. So what you just said prompts me to ask you a couple questions. So if we
Okay.
want to help you focus your efforts kind of like in 2020 and in what you want to be attracting as it relates to social, what would you
hmm
say you are currently focusing on?
Okay, so currently, well, right now I am building that process, that project, because like I said, I have enough clients to service my own business and can't take on any more. So I'm doing that client work, and at the same time I'm attempting to try to build up this service to match make the client. So just getting the word out there that, hey, this is coming. About actually already had some people, I have one person that's sort of playing as my, I guess she would be my guinea pig, because she wants me to do that. And so I charged her a little bit to do that. And she's helping me kind of flesh this out. So really, I'm at a point where I'm trying to make that transition, and I'm trying to get all the little pieces in place, but also to just let people know, hey, this is coming. And I have like a sign up where they could sign up to, when it kind of know about it, when it launches and that kind of thing, like a waiting list almost, I guess you would say. So
Okay.
just things like that. So I am trying to kind of get the word out there already, just because, you know, we're here. I mean, it's, the holidays and all is really what's left, and then we'll be in 2020. So,
Okay, so regarding your current focus, here's what I'm hearing. Tell me if this is right. I'm hearing you
okay.
say that I'm focusing on serving the clients that I currently have and serving them well
Yep.
and having them be happy people thinking that Alyssa is a rock star at what she does.
Yeah.
And then you are currently working on having a message that you are putting out that's saying like, hey, this is exciting. This is happening. This is coming. If you want to be one of the first people to know about it, or if you want to learn more when we have all the details ready, here's how you
Yeah.
can come to get on that wait list.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And the
Because I have
last,
those pieces ready. So,
currently, what is your, okay, what is your current place on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, where do you currently have a footprint right now?
Well, my biggest is on Instagram at the moment, because I'll tell you what happened, and you might can give me a tip or so to kind of figure this out. So I had a Facebook page for my business. It was Alicia Avant and Company, which is the name of my business. And back last year, back in the earlier part of the year somehow I got locked out of that business page. And so I had about probably 400 or 500 likes on that page, and I'm locked out, and from what I understand, have to somehow claim that page back, and I don't exactly understand how to do that. So I started a new page, and of course that page is really small, and I just changed the name slightly. I did use the initials for my business, which is AAC, and then I put virtual assistant out beside it, because I couldn't get into that page. And so that's kind of the size of that at this point. And then over on Instagram, I have about 2,070 or something like that people following me over there. And so I'm active on both of those right now, but I'm struggling with the Facebook piece just because I did lose that, and I don't know exactly how to gain that back.
Okay, so you are currently on social, and you're not switching from, hey, I've got donuts for sale, and then, hey guys, in 3 months, I'm going to start a virtual assistant company. It was almost,
Right.
so I understand, it was, I do VA work. Now it's like, hey, I do VA work. I have a team that does VA work, and let me partner and match Christian business owners that need that with people that I have ultimately trained. Is that right?
Yes,
So that's like,
exactly. So it's not like they get can't get a VA. They just won't get me being their VA, but it will be someone I trained. I'm not going to promote anybody that I didn't personally train.
okay.
At this point.
All right. So here's some thoughts that are coming to my mind as you're talking to me. You've got branding currently that aligns with the VA world. So that's all good. And I understand, and
Yep.
that's so heartbreaking to like hear that your page is possibly not able to get back. I'm not necessarily saying to give up on that, but I would almost say, like, if you have reached out to Facebook, I know I would say for you for the future, I don't know exactly the details, but always make sure that you have someone else as an admin on your page to try to help something like that not to happen again. But let's just say worst case scenario, like no one from Facebook responds and you just ultimately don't have access to that audience. You've got Instagram as a primary focus, and you have Facebook as a place that you're going to be starting. And so I would say to you, when you think of the Christian business owners that you would like to be attracting and having to ultimately be able to partner with some of the VAs on your team, is Instagram the number one place, or is that where they are? Are you currently seeing Instagram being a successful place for you to be building and making those connections and those engagements with?
Not so much. I make more connections in Facebook groups, really, honestly, which obviously they probably come over to my page, but I don't know if it's the fact that the page is small or if it's the fact that I just connect with them better in groups. I'm not real sure.
Okay.
But I'm in some specific Facebook groups that I post in regularly, answer questions, that kind of thing. And that's usually where they reach out to me or ask, can they email me or, message me or something like that. So at this point, that's kind of where it is.
And do you currently have a website?
I do. Mm-hmm.
So you have a website. On your website, how can someone take a next step to reach out to you? Do you have like opt-ins, or do you have a contact us form, or do you have a link to your scheduling calendar? What does that look like?
Yeah, so right now, if they click over to hire a VA, it takes them to a page that tells the types of services that I offer, and then in that they can go to the contact form, and the contact form will allow them to fill out just a short questionnaire about what they're looking for, and then it reroutes them to a scheduling calendar. Okay. So, and then some people will fill that out automatically, and they'll schedule a call. Sometimes I have to reach back out to them because I got the form, but they didn't schedule the call. So maybe they just didn't realize that it was there or whatever. But
Okay.
most of the time, I get the questionnaire, and then, the scheduled call will come in after that.
Okay. And do you have on your website a place for just you to grow your email list? Like, here's this. If you enter in your email address, you get the email address, they get the thing.
Not yet at this point. That's something I do need for this new direction, because I sort of had that in the past, but not so much right now. I need to add an opt-in on my homepage because there's nothing there. I do have some opt-ins that are standalone landing pages that I promote,
Okay.
but I don't have anything on the homepage.
And who do you use as your email provider?
Active Campaign.
Okay. So a couple thoughts. And the reason I asked you that is I know I live and breathe and love social media, but I'm a huge advocate of social media as a place for you for you and all of us to build connections, build relationships, and take people somewhere. And so for someone who,
Yeah.
I built my business for 5 months without a website, but I'd say the longer you are around, the more credible you come across is when you do have a website as a place for people to go. And so when you think of your social strategy and you think of taking someone somewhere, like whether people can find you on Google, if you're doing blog articles, I want you to not miss out on opportunities to be able to grow your email list with
Right.
your website. And I don't have active campaign. I just hear nothing but great things about it. And I would imagine there's possibly even a way, if you are the opt-in standalones that you've created within Active Campaign.
Yes, right.
So
Which they're on my site. I used Optimized Press to create like the landing page, and it connects to Active Campaign. And
yes.
so, yeah, I have a couple of those on my site. Like one is about 10 tools, to save time in your business, that sort of thing. And then I have some for VAs too, because I do train VAs. So there's some for that. But they're just like a standalone landing page instead of on the front page of my site.
Okay. And like, perfect world, I just would love for you to have an ability for someone, if they come to your website within 10 seconds, to be able to see something that's like,
Opt-in on the home.
I want to get on their list. And what I would say to you, and I want you to take advantage of those stand-in opt-ins that you currently have. But if you, let's say we're creating one, or I would say first look within Active Campaign. There's probably a super simple way for you to take one that you've already created and then like embed it like onto your
on
website.
the site.
But I would say
so.
when you're talking about your top question, which is where to focus your efforts, here's what I have to say. If you've got people that currently are those 10 to 11 VAs that ultimately they are going to be more happy the more leads that you're able to bring in to connect with them, and that's going to help your whole business model scale, is you would be well served if you make the content you create and everything be focused on that ideal dream Christian business owner and their angst, their struggles, what's keeping them up at night. So even if you had an opt-in that was almost like, here are the 5 questions that you need to ask before you hire your next VA or your first VA. And like you're writing it to them because you want to come across as like, this is my area of expertise. I've seen lots and lots of people make all of these mistakes. So don't go down these roads. And here are the 5 questions that you want to ask someone if you're interviewing them, to hire them. And just all the content you would want to be putting out on social would be a combination of what's going to make that business owner's life easier. Hey, if you're looking to get a VA, and I'm making this up, but I'm just saying, like, rather than trying to get a VA that's like a jack of all trades, and you're looking for someone that's like a Facebook ads manager expert, but they're also fantastic at copy, slowly work on growing your team to offload tasks that you're not good at, and maybe go to get someone that's really excellent in a specific skill set. But also taking those 10 VAs that you currently have and focusing and spotlighting them in your branding. So if Beth, making that name up, but if Beth is one of your VAs and Beth is like a delight to work with, or Beth is helping her client get a 40% increase on whatever she's helping them do, then you can use all that content from your team and spotlight that all across your social.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you're trying to say, if you need help and if you're struggling, well, great, no problem. This is what our zone of genius is. You struggle with this,
Right.
well, no problem. This is what we're excellent at. And then make sure that you're like focused on social, Instagram, Facebook, even when you're talking in those groups, is that you're just constantly trying to get more in the mind of those business owners. And you are saying, I absolutely love that we are able to do X, Y, and Z. And like our area of specialty is this, or we've got people that specialize in this. Do you need that? You can go here to get more information. And constantly on social, guide people to where they can go to fill out that questionnaire, and guide people where they can go to get on your email list so you can nurture those people and just stay top of mind, because they may not need a VA now, but they may be able to become smarter by the information that you share. And it'd be important, I'd say, on social and in your email marketing to make sure that you are coming across not in every email like you're pitching them, but that you are just being like, hey, here's a golden nugget. Like, here's 5 sentences of something that could help them with what their real life looks like as they're struggling.
Okay.
And I know that you mentioned like you've got a good following and you're super active on Instagram. And I believe that your audience, there's obviously an audience that's there. I would say that Facebook groups are super powerful. I've gotten many clients and many opportunities myself in Facebook groups. So like you're doing, I would continue to say, like, of all the groups, and it might evolve, 2017 group activity may look different than what 2020 activity looks like, but I would kind of do an audit on myself and say, I need to pick 3 to 5 Facebook groups that are full of the Christian business owners that are at a level of the people that have the bandwidth and the resources to hire someone like on my team, and make sure
Yeah.
that you're spending the time in the right places amongst the right people. And just like you're doing, be super awesome and actively intentional in those 3 to 5 groups rather than you trying to be like hit or miss in 20.
Yeah. Got it.
And again, like regarding your Facebook page, if you did go with this idea that you're starting something new, I would say if I'm spending time in Facebook groups, then very likely there are people that are seeing me just as a personal profile of Alyssa, and they're like, wow, this girl's like really smart, and they're checking you out. So just make sure you don't say to yourself, oh my goodness, my Facebook page is like so sad and lonely and I'm depressed, I don't have what I had. But even if you've got 30 followers or 200 followers, just constantly say to yourself, if I'm actively involved on Facebook in groups, there are people that are clicking on my name. Do I have on my personal profile a link to that new Facebook page that I made? And am I actively on that new page, like putting content out that's a very excellent reflection upon the vision I have for the people I want to serve?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To
Yeah, and I
include,
do have that. I do have it on my, and put the new one on there, and it's got like, I got a thing the other day. It's congratulations, you have 50 followers now. So I did get it, it's back to 50, but and it updates every day. So I do put stuff on there every day. It's not as active obviously as it was, because I went live yesterday on there, and I bet it, like, I hardly had any views, and then I shared it on my personal profile. I haven't gone back to look because I had church last night, but it's just, to me, the Facebook pages have always been kind of a slow growth thing for me.
right. Well, 2 tips I have for you on that. One, Small Facebook pages are super hard to grow if you are making every single post be something that you are writing and crafting. And so
Mm-hmm.
you would be well served if you thought to yourself, what are some bigger pages than mine that have a super active following that my dream clients would align with, and make sure every week you're sharing posts from other big Facebook pages and you're sharing that post onto your page. So even if it's as simple as it's a quote and it's a John C. Maxwell quote from his page that has 975 shares on it, and you say to yourself, that aligns with what I believe. I believe that's going to encourage my audience today. I'm going to share that now, or I'm going to consistently share from bigger Facebook pages onto my tiny page. And it basically kind of creates some of that juice from the big page kind of comes over to your page.
Got it.
The other tip I have for you on your Facebook page, as well as overall in your social strategy, is, have you ever, Alyssa, interviewed on the phone clients that you have worked with and they have been happy clients and customers?
No, I have not.
I would come up with a very simple, and you don't need to email them. Like, what the ask is for you to look back at clients you've worked with in the past. And I would love to challenge you, Alyssa, to say, I am going to get on the phone and talk to 10 people who've given out their credit card information to me and have paid to work with me. And the whole thing that you're going to be saying to them is saying, I would love to talk to you. I am literally asking past clients the same 7 questions, and I am literally just writing down everything that you say so I can serve my audience better. Do you have 10 minutes? And it's really important on your end to not make it turn into a 45-minute conversation, or they'll never say yes to you again.
Yeah.
But to literally have a Google Drive form that is like 4 questions. And it could just literally be, tell me the biggest win you got from having me help you with VA work. And anything they say, type it down. Another question might be, like, if you had a magic wand and you could wave your hand, what is something that you wish you knew before you hired a VA that you know now? Write down every single word they say. And once you come up with those 4 to 5 questions, and this is just basically helping you get in the mind of the ideal people. Don't interview someone that was like a nightmare for you to work with. So I'm wanting you to interview people that you've liked, you've enjoyed. And to then, once you've interviewed 10 people, and it is important to ask them all the same questions, because then what you're doing is you're kind of gathering this mine of data. And to look across the 10 people you interviewed and go, I see some patterns. 6 of the people all answered this 3rd question, and they all mentioned the same thing. And these people don't know each other. But that is like something I am noticing. I never talk about that in my marketing. I'm never saying that on social media when I address why someone might want to hire a VA.
Yeah.
Almost like you could do it once and have those 10 interviews and save that information and use it, or you could say, I'm going to interview 10 people a year, and you could just constantly reevaluate it. But I think that would help you in your messaging on social media, not say, okay, this is what Heather said, or this is what my gut tells me. Because sometimes, Alyssa, people begin to put out on social media because they feel that their clients are going to think and that they're wired just like they are. And oftentimes that may be the case, but sometimes just personality differences, and maybe even the people we attract, like we may be attracting like opposites of ourselves. And you may be like, I like working with these kinds of people. I like working with people that are responsive or have a certain personality type. And you might start to see patterns. And then you can almost showcase that as you're putting out there in social. And, if you, let's say, loved working with brands that someone that had like a product that was like for outdoorsmen, right? Because you personally like love hiking and you love nature, and maybe there's just like an avenue of the more specific you could get, you know, or is it generic? Do you not care? You know, could they sell bolts for boat parts, or could they have an accounting business? And maybe say
Yeah.
to yourself, is there a pattern of these 10 people I interviewed? They all tend to have this kind of a business.
Yeah. Well, most of mine are authors and speakers, for sure. And I kind of, over the years, especially because I've done this for so long, I know that most of them are older than me and less techy. I do know that. Most of them are either could be my mother or my grandmother. Like most of them are a little bit older than me, and they're very much like encouraging and the type of person that says, "Here, you're good at this. You do this, and I'll do my thing." I don't work well with like major micromanagers or people that don't, appreciate my abilities or, my opinion or whatever. I've done this for 12 years. So I've kind of over the years developed, they always tell you to come up with this avatar or whatever. Well, I didn't really do that at the beginning, but over the years it's kind of developed for me. And I can, like, when I think about my favorite clients, they're all very similar in that regard.
Another question I have, when you say like, where should you focus your efforts for 2020? I would try to sit down and get really clear on what you might need regarding like a client load. So it's like, if you have a team, are you looking, you might have like a minimum, like people that, let's say you come to work with, they need to have someone like, or they need to have someone, they need to at least want someone 10 hours a month. Like maybe that's your minimum. Or maybe it's a price point. Maybe it's a $1,500 a month minimum. I don't know what those numbers are. But what I'd almost tell you to do is kind of say, you might have like a target goal, if you were to think of like a bullseye, and say to yourself, what would a number of clients that you brought on that may have like a certain general average of services or maybe a price point of one of your packages, and say, are you looking to get 15 new clients? Are you looking to get 30? Are you looking to get 5? And make yourself break it down to say, this is what I would like for all of 2020. And so I realized January could possibly be a little bit slower. And so I'm not going to necessarily take the number I get and divide it by 12, but I'm going to just literally look on paper and say, what might it look like for you to try to accomplish that bullseye target? And then just try to say, as I'm looking at my marketing and as I'm looking at going, okay, well, I've been on the phone with 7 people, and of the 7 people I'm on the phone with, how many percentages of those people are actually signing up? And so if you're finding, and I'm just making this up, that you have 7 phone calls and then 2 of those people sign up, and you go, okay, well, this is a numbers game. If I want to have 10 new clients and I see that like 2 out of 7 people are signing up, then whatever the goal is that you want to have client-wise, then you want to make sure that you're trying to at least get that many number of questionnaires completed. Or if sometimes the harder we make it for someone to communicate with us, it sounds weird even saying this, like, even on opt-in forms, they're like super clear what's in it for them, their name and their email. And someone might really want it, but once you say, okay, your name and your email, and I also would like to know like the best time of day that you like to talk on the phone. I'd also like to know what your biggest struggle is. I'd also like to know this. Well, their eyes kind of sometimes glaze over and they don't even finish it. And you don't even know that they existed because you never got it. And so I would just kind of say, I know you've got that questionnaire or that contact section, which, right, that's a piece, right? It doesn't mean like you can't ask for more information, but making sure you say, well, that takes a little bit more of a commitment from them, because instead of it taking them 15 seconds, it's going to take them, 2 minutes to give me some more information. So then making sure that
Yeah.
you do have ways for people. Are you telling people, hey, you can send me a DM if you would like to set up a call? And you might manually say, until you got to a point of going, I don't have time to be doing that. They need to be going to my questionnaire. Just try to make it as simple as possible for you to find
Right.
out who wants to learn more.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
So I can't believe, but 30 minutes literally has just flown by. And so, question I like to ask everybody is, if you were right now, in your own words, you're looking at the notes that you've taken, what is the one top takeaway that you have from this conversation?
Okay, let me look back because I gotta
That's
figure out. Okay,
fine.
I gotta figure out which one was yesterday's and which one was today's. I think this is today's. I usually take notes in a notebook, but today I'm running out of notebooks. I have too many. Okay, so this starts here, I think. Line. Yeah, right here. This is part one. Okay, so I think one thing that I did not know at all and never even considered doing, because I thought of it, I'll tell you what I thought, how I thought of it and how you explained it. So on the sharing from larger Facebook pages, I always thought, well, they're big enough. Why do I need to share them? You know what I mean? Like, that was my thing. That was like, okay, they're bigger to me. Why do I want to share and like give them more traffic or whatever, when, you know, how is that going to benefit me? I guess that was a big thing for sure, because it's not something I thought of doing. And then the other thing would be the client thing. I literally, like I said, I've done this for 12 years. So I literally have clients. I kept a folder, like a Dropbox folder, for every client I've ever had. And I've like paid for Dropbox literally so I could keep records of all this. And so I have literally like probably over, I don't even know. I mean, maybe more than 100 people that I could like literally talk to, because I've worked with so many people. Obviously, there's some of those were not my ideal client and I fired them or they fired me, or, you know, I've gotten rid of some clients before because it was worth it to me to get rid of them just for my life to be less stressful. But yeah,
Okay.
those things for sure.
Okay, that's great. And so the other question that's kind of related to that is, based on you investing 30 minutes of your life that you'll never get back talking to me right now, what are you going to do? What action are you going to take? And I know this is a loaded question because Thanksgiving is like ASAP and Christmas is here, but what are you going to do in the next 30 days based on this conversation?
Well, I actually like this time of year to work because I don't do as much client work, so I can work on my own business in the little crevice of time that you're not doing family stuff. But for me, it would be making sure that I have an email list that is speaking to that target client and letting them know that I have the service available, because I don't have anything like that at this point.
Okay.
So I think that's the most important, and something that's simple, like you said, that they don't have to answer a lot of questions, that they just answer, hey, I'm interested in hearing more, kind of thing. I think that's for sure like the biggest thing I need to do. Obviously, I need to do some of the other stuff too, but I think, you know, that would be the thing I could do the quickest, for sure. And then trying to get on the phone with some of the clients as well, so I'll kind of know what my messaging needs to be, because this is kind of scaling my business, and I've not really ever done that before. Like, I've had a couple subcontractors and people that I would outsource stuff to, you know, here and there, but not really ever tried to promote it beyond what I could handle myself.
Okay. So I want you to know that I'm going to send you this recording like I told you I was. And I want you in 30 days to send me an email. And I would love to get an update and say, here's the action I've taken, and here is the result that I have based on what I've done. Does that sound like a fair request?
Yeah, I need to write down what day that would be, the 20th of December.
Okay, roughly. I realize it's crazy, right? It's Christmas.
Yeah,
But
my son, maybe I can remember since my son's 16th birthday is the 21st. So.
there you go. That's good. My daughter's going to turn 15 on the 22nd of December.
Oh wow, yeah, well, that's near together. Yep.
We've got Christmas
I can't
baby.
believe I have one that old, but he is.
Awesome. Well, here's what I want to do. Before we wrap up today's coaching call, I know I told you this is going to be on my podcast. And so my goal
Yeah.
is that this conversation would encourage someone else that is on this journey of growing their business, and to honestly just be a gift to them to say, oh my goodness, some of the things that Alyssa's working on, like I could work on those things. So I want you right
Mhm.
now, Alyssa, take a second. There could be someone listening right now that they could totally benefit, and they might need to talk to you because they might need to be hiring a VA, and they want to hire someone that they trust. They like the idea that you work with Christian business owners. So take a minute, tell everybody where they could come and find your website to come to learn more about what you do.
Okay, well, my website is AlyssaAvantandCompany.com, and so you can come there. Of course, I'm on Facebook and Instagram just as my name as well, and there will be information, obviously, to fill out to learn more about how you could work with me or my team.
Awesome. And please, just to go, I love it. It's like a full circle moment. If you do reach out to her, please let her know that you heard her podcast on the
Yeah,
Business, Jesus, and Sweet Tea podcast. So thanks so much, Alyssa. I've loved having a chance to talk with you today.
I appreciate it so much, Heather.
Awesome. Everybody, take care and have a super fantastic rest of your day.
Y'all too. Bye.